Alright, what's up everybody? So today I'm actually filming this 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and this SUV costs $120,000. Yes, $120,000 for this SUV right here. Now this car does compete with the Cadillac Escalade and Lincoln Navigator. So today I'm actually going to see if this $120,000 SUV right here is worth getting over the Lincoln Navigator or the Cadillac Escalade. Alright, so before we get started with today's video, I want y'all to give it a like, subscribe, share with your friends, follow my social medias. Now all my social medias will be in the link down below, all my videos link down below for all my social medias, and stay tuned for other future videos. Now back to the video. Alright, so first off, let's talk about what is the Grand Wagoneer. Now the Grand Wagoneer is Jeep luxury SUV. Now yes, Jeep did make this, nobody else did, Jeep did. So there's actually two versions of the Grand Wagoneer. You can actually get the regular Wagoneer, which complete with like the Tahoe, Expedition, all of them. Or you can get this, the Grand Wagoneer, which complete with the Lincoln Navigator and Cadillac Escalade as the luxury version, more upscale version of the Wagoneer. You just get better grille, lighting, and all that. So those are the two differences between the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. So like I said, Grand Wagoneer go up against the Escalade, Wagoneer goes up against the Tahoe and Expedition. Alright, so the next thing I actually want to talk about with the Grand Wagoneer is the design of it. Now the design is, I would say, hit and miss for some people. Now for me personally, I actually don't mind it, but there are a few things that I don't like about it when it first came out, and I still don't like about it, but I got used to it. So let's start off with the good that I like about it. Now the good is this. Now I actually do like the front end of it. It's actually very good. It's actually very Jeep-like and very SUV, very bold in your face kind of type of thing, because you got these slim LED lights right here, got your fog lamps right here, LED all around, got your Wagoneer name right here, so to let everybody know, hey, this is a Wagoneer right here. You also got, you know, your big front end, which I actually do like. It's actually very SUV, right? Very big, very prominent in your face kind of, right? Which is a good thing, right? But this is where it has its drawbacks. Now its drawbacks are this rear third quarter window, which I'm finna show you the second in the back. Now I have gotten used to it, I will say that I have gotten used to it, but I just still don't like it, right? It's fine, I got used to it, like I said, it's fine, but it's not bad, but it just looks unfinished and the proportions of it don't look right. From what I heard from some people, they said they don't like the way it looks. I'm not knocking them because I personally agree with them, but yeah. So as you can see right here, this third rear quarter window, as you can see, I don't mind it, but it looks kind of unfinished, right? It doesn't look elegant or something, I don't know, but yeah, this rear third quarter window, I actually don't mind it, but I still, yeah, it's kind of a hit and miss for me. Like I said, I don't mind it, but it is a hit and miss, I will say that. And also the back of this car, right, the back of this car, right, as you can see, it looks fine, but I don't know, it looks fine, but as you can see, it looks fine, but yeah, it looks fine. I'm not knocking it, but it did kind of look weird to me when it first came out, and I got used to it. But the rear third quarter window I don't like at all, just point blank period, I don't like it. But like I said, the design of this car is pretty much fine. I will just say that it's fine. It works for people. If it don't work for you, it don't work for you. If it works for you, it works for you. But like I said, it's good, not knocking it, but it did kind of look weird to me when it first came out. The quarter window is what I have my most problem with though, so I will say that. Alright, so since we are in the back of the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, let's talk space in the body styles. So you have to get two body styles with this Grand Wagoneer. You have to get it in the long wheelbase version or the short wheelbase version on both, you know, both sides, Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. This particular one right here is the long wheelbase version, as you can see by just, if I pop this trunk, yeah, there we go. As you can see, as it opens, as you can see right here. Now the third row seat is up, but as you can see, this is actually the long wheelbase version, and you actually get plenty of space right here, as you can see. So basically think of this as a suburban type of competitor, right? So, you know, you got the Tahoe and Suburban, you know, long wheelbase version, just like this one. Tahoe is for the short wheelbase version of this. So there's that. But as you can see, you actually can fold your seats down. Now it does actually tell you what seat is folding down, like second row left seat, right? As you can see, it just folded down. Or you could third row right, which is this. And you don't even have to hold it. You can just push the button and it will go down, which actually is pretty neat. Now it is coming back up because the seatbelt and all that stuff is in the way. But yeah, all you could do is just use those buttons right there, which I actually do appreciate and like that it tells you, hey, this is where you can, you know, let down the seat and you're not figuring out, hey, which one am I pressing? Like, if I'm going to, you know, do the third row seat, I'm not figuring out, oh, which one is the third row? Is it this one or is it this one? You can just see it right here. All right, another thing about this trunk that I actually don't like is that the button placement. Now, the button placement is not actually up here like on some normal cars. It's actually over here in this corner over here, which I don't like because you're by the tailgate. So I think it does give you a second, you know, to, you know, move out the way, but still, I like it when it's up here and not over in the corner somewhere where you have to push the button and then back away, as opposed to normal cars and SUVs where you're already away from the trunk and all you gotta do is just push the button. I like it like up here instead of down over here. As you can see, the button's over here. I don't like that. I like it up here, not over there. Alright, so moving inside of the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, before we talk about what's inside and the interior and all that type of stuff, the first thing I want to talk about is what's under the hood. Now, you actually can get two powertrain engines, right? So you got this new engine called the Hurricane. It's an inline 6, and it makes around 500 horsepower, which is actually pretty impressive for an inline 6. And you also get this other engine, which is a 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8, making 464 69 horsepower, I believe is one of those two. Yeah, 464, I believe that's the one. 464 horsepower, which is actually pretty good. Now, this 6.4 liter V8 is actually in the Dodge Challenger Scat Pack and Charger Scat Pack, which is actually pretty impressive. You actually got a SRT engine in this SUV, which is actually pretty good. Basically, the highlights of this car. All right, so let's talk about what is this particular Grand Wagoneer. Now, this particular Grand Wagoneer is the Series 3 trip. So it's actually the top, I believe it's the top of the line trip of this Grand Wagoneer. And so what you get with that is actually pretty impressive stuff, as we would take a look at. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is this view camera mirror. Now, maybe thinking, what is a view camera mirror? Basically, think about it as you got a regular view mirror, right? You can see out the back, right? But let's say you have a lot of people in the third row, right? And they're, you know, they're too tall and you really can't see out the back window, right? So all you gotta do is just flip this switch. As you can see here, I'm just flipping this switch, right? And it shows a camera in the view mirror to see where you're going, like where you backing up to and all that type of stuff, which is actually a pretty cool feature, right? Now, this is not the first time this automaker has had this. Plate automakers are doing it now, which is actually pretty cool. I hope more jump aboard that. You got a view camera mirror, so that can showcase what's in the back in case you can't see out the, you know, back window, which is actually pretty impressive. Like I said, it's really cool. You know, if you got like tall passengers in the third row and you really can't see out the back, you just flip that. As you can see, just flip the switch and you can see at the in the view mirror where you're backing up at. Pretty impressive. All right, so another feature I would talk about is this fam cam. Now, maybe thinking, fam cam? Yes, fam cam. Now, so to access this fam cam, all you gotta do is just go to your vehicles in the touchscreen. And as you can see, you can touch fam cam. That you can see your passengers in the back seat, which is actually pretty impressive. You actually see your passengers in the back seat, or your child, if you know, if she's crying or something's wrong, you don't have to like turn your head, right? You know, you don't have to turn your head to see what's going on and get distracted on the road, right? You can just look in this touchscreen at the fam cam and see what's going on or who is misbehaving back there and all that type of stuff, right? Which is actually pretty good, right? So you don't have to like turn your head and say, hey, stop it back there, right? You just look at the fam cam and, you know, just say, hey, you better stop it back there, Timmy or whoever, right? So that's actually a pretty cool feature. You got fam cam, and the camera is actually right there. I don't know if you can see the little thing up top, but yeah, it's right there, which is cool, right? So you got a bird's eye view. As you can see, you got a bird's eye view of the second and third row passengers, right? So you can just figure out who is causing ruckus and all that good stuff. All right, so another thing actually we want to talk about is this off-road page. Now, to access the off-road page, like again, all you gotta do is just go to your vehicle page and then click on off-road, and then click this other button to access the off-road. And then as you can see, you can do a bunch of stuff with it, which is actually pretty impressive. You actually can lock the rear diff. You block the rear diff, do a bunch of sorts of other things with it as well, because this is a Jeep. You can't take it off-road, which I don't really think you should, but hey, it's your vehicle, you can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, you could just access the off-road page by just clicking this button right here, and it'll show you all your off-road pages and stuff that you need to see. All right, so another thing I just want to talk about are the climate controls. Now, the climate controls are kind of a little, not tricky, but as you can see here, you do got your array of climate controls right here. You do got your fan speed and all that other stuff, but you got this touchscreen down here which controls other functions. It also controls the climate controls, but other functions as well. As you can see, you control your climate controls, your seat, and other things like that, massaging as well. So this touchscreen does a bunch of huge other things. Like I said, lumbar, all this type of stuff for your seats. It controls many functions as well, but also controls the functions for your climate control. So it's, I would not gonna say it's a hit or miss, because you do get, you know, your standard climate controls. But if you wanna, you know, use the touchscreen for other things, you can. Or for the climate controls, it's either or, just up to you. All right, another thing about this touchscreen is that it actually is a hidden compartment behind the touchscreen. So to unveil this hidden compartment, all you gotta do is just click this button right here, and it will show the, you know, charging port and wireless charging pad right there as well, which is actually pretty neat. It just frees up some space behind you know, the screen. All right, so another thing I just want to talk about is the gauge cluster. Now, the gauge cluster actually shows different gauge settings on it. So all you gotta do to activate these gauge settings is just click this button on the steering wheel, and as you can see, it shows different sections of the gauges and what to see it should see. So it shows like radio, map, all that type of stuff. You just click it and it shows multitude of things that you need to see. All right, so another thing I just want to talk about before I move into the second row is that this car has a passenger touchscreen, which is pretty cool because you actually can watch like movies, you listen to music, watch movies on it. Now the screen is polarized, so the driver doesn't get distracted, which is actually pretty good benefit, of course, because you don't want the driver to get distracted and crash this thing. But yeah, so this car does have a passenger screen on it. Like I said, you can watch movies, listen to music, all that type of stuff with Amazon Fire Stick, and many more things on that. But like I said, it's a pretty cool feature. I wish more SUVs have that, because, you know, don't want to get bored or something. So alright, so since we are talking about the center console, let's talk about the storage in it. Now, as you can see, you can just slide this little top open and it reveals some charge ports, which is, you know, pretty neat. And another thing is that if you lift the armrest up on the center console, it's actually surprised, you know, has a deep amount of space back there, which is actually pretty good because this is massive, so it better have good space, which is actually pretty cool. Another thing is that, as you saw, there was TV remotes in there. Now, there is TVs in this car, which I believe is an option. I think it's the option. Yeah, it's an option in this car that there are TV remotes that you. All right, so another thing I actually want to talk about with this second row is that you actually can recline this. So, but just by putting this lever on the side, and you actually can move it forward and back to give you more space in the second row. All right, so another thing about this second row is that it has a button on the top of the seat to access the third row. So to access the third row, all you gotta do is just click this little button on the top of the seat, and it will just move the seat forward. As you can see right here, all I'm doing is just doing that and then move forward. All right, so moving into the third row of the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, as you can see right here, actually do fit. Now, like I said, this is the long wheelbase version, so I do have a little bit more room, but that's mainly due for the storage, right? Because this is a long wheelbase, that's mainly for that back there. But yeah, so the third row actually fit pretty good. Actually, I actually do have plenty of headroom, as you can see, which is actually pretty impressive. All right, so another thing I actually want to talk about in this third row is actually you can recline this third row by just pushing this little button right here to move your seat forward or back, which is pretty impressive. You really don't see that much reclining third rows in big SUVs just like this one. And you also got charge ports back here, as you can see. You got charge ports on both sides, which is actually pretty good. And another thing I just want to talk about is you actually can recline the third row by just pressing this little button. Instead of going to the truck to do it, you can just push the little button on the side of this second row seat, and it would just fold down, as you can see right here. Another thing I just want to mention is this car actually has air suspension on it. So as you can see, you just can move this toggle right here on the right side where the passenger seat is, and it will actually lower or raise the car up with the air suspension just by moving this lever right here. All right, so another thing I actually want to talk about is the keys. Now, the keys are actually pretty nice. I actually do like it. It actually does say Grand Wagoneer on it, which is actually, nice attention to detail. It doesn't say Jeep on it. It just say Grand Wagoneer. And speaking of Jeep, there are not many Jeep badges or lettering on this car. You do got one on the windshield. I know you got two on the side of the headlights and in the rear of the tail lights right there. And that's about it, I believe. So yeah, there's not many Jeep badges on this car, which I actually do like. Does make you know that this is a Grand Wagoneer. It probably is showing it. All right, and so that is actually it for today's video, guys. So I hope you guys did enjoy my little review on this Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Like I said, this is actually $120,000. You could really believe that this Grand Wagoneer is worth $120,000. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you think this car is actually worth $120,000. Now, me personally, I think this is actually very much worth it. It's actually very nice. I actually like it. Now, which one would I take over the Lincoln or Escalade? I'll take this over the Lincoln. Now, the Lincoln is nice, I will say that, but this is nicer. The Escalade, though, it's kind of a hard to choose. I would actually choose the Escalade over this, but this actually is a nice SUV to consider, and I hope you do guys like it. And there's that. So stay tuned for my next video. I'll see you guys next time.